Hi, my name's Adam. I'm in Melbourne and today we're going to be travelling to Warrnambool. The majority of regional trains in Victoria are operated by diesel multiple units. But today we're going to be travelling on a loco-hauled train, which operates some of the longer distance services in Victoria. So come along and find out what the experience is like. Our journey begins at Melbourne's main terminus for regional rail services, Southern Cross. From here we'll head 267 kilometres southwest to the regional city of Warrnambool, taking just over 3.5 hours. Victoria's regional passenger trains are operated by Vale, a government-owned corporation. In today's video, we'll compare first class with economy to see if it's worth the upgrade, and you'll also get to see some of the beautiful scenery along the route. This train is called a VLocity. Entering service in 2005, there are now more than 90 sets in operation. Eventually, they'll replace the remaining loco-hauled services, such as the one we're travelling on today. This VLocity is heading on the same route as us, but will terminate in Geelong. Today's route will take us through some of Melbourne's western suburbs on the way to Geelong. We'll then continue further west to Camperdown before we reach our destination, Warrnambool. Southern Cross is an impressive station, with trains to numerous towns and cities across the state. That's our train. You can check in luggage for loco-hauled V-line services up to 30 minutes before departure. We're departing from platform 5A. The platforms at Southern Cross also have a B section at the far end of the platform. This is an N-class loco, which is the type you'll see on V-Line's loco-hauled sets. V-Line uses loco-hauled sets during peak times and on longer distance services, such as to Swan Hill, Shepparton and Warrnambool. Today's train has 3 economy cars and 1 first-class car. Today we're travelling in first class, where seat reservations are required. Let's hop on board. There's a compartment for the guard and luggage at the rear of this carriage. Here's my seat. We'll take a closer look later. We depart on time. There's a lot of VLocity and Sprinter units in the yard. Sprinters are a diesel rail car used mostly on V-Line's shorter distance services.
Good afternoon customers, welcome aboard your 109 service from Southern Cross through to Warrnambool. After 1 suburban pickup, the service will run express through to Geelong Station, followed by Warrnambool, Winchelsea, Birrregurra, Colac, Camperdown, Terang, Sherwood Park. Service will terminate at Warrnambool at roughly 4:46. There's also a coach connection at Warrnambool through to Mount Camperdown. Please be advised that this service is a reserved seat service. The last 2 carriages are reserved seat tickets, and you must hold a reserved seat ticket to sit in these carriages. If you are travelling with a lucky card or unreserved seat ticket, please ensure you sit in the front 2 carriages. For your convenience, this train has toilets, drinking fountains and rubbish bins throughout the carriages. We would usually have a cafe bar on this train, but due to COVID, it is unfortunately closed today. I do apologise about any inconvenience caused. Smoking, which includes use of e-cigarettes, and the consumption of alcohol is prohibited on all V-Line services. Also ask for the courtesy of fellow passengers if you could please keep your feet with the seat. Finally, face masks are still mandatory on public transport in Victoria. You must be wearing a face mask for your entire journey, while correctly covering your nose and mouth. This is your service through to Warrnambool. After 1 suburban pickup, you run express through to Geelong Station. Thank you.
Our first stop after leaving Southern Cross is Footscray, where we pick up passengers. Footscray is the junction for the suburban lines to Sunbury, Werribee and Williamstown. We now run express to Geelong, passing various container yards. We're now travelling on the regional rail link, opened in 2015. It provides separate tracks for regional trains rather than sharing tracks with Melbourne's suburban trains. This is suburban sunshine. Time to take a closer look at the seat. Legroom is very generous. There are pull-out footrests. These seats can be rotated to face the direction of travel. There are overhead luggage racks for small bags. You need a paper ticket to travel on V-Line's long-distance services. You can get them posted or collect them from a V-Line ticket office. It already feels like we're in the country. Spoiler alert, we're not. First class features these large tray tables. The buffet is still closed because of the pandemic, so I brought my own food. There's no at-seat power, Wi-Fi or other mod cons on these trains. Melbourne's urban sprawl extends quite far west. V-Line stores a lot of VLocity units in this yard. We're now crossing the interstate standard gauge rail line that links Melbourne and Adelaide. We're also crossing two broad gauge lines, which provide a more direct route from Melbourne, 8 kilometres less than the route we took. However, it's slower because of the need to share the lines with suburban trains from Werribee. However, the government is building a new express track between Werribee and Lavatory to allow trains to take this faster route. Geelong Oil Refinery was originally owned by Shell and is one of only 2 oil refineries still operating in Australia. It's now owned by Viva Energy. There's old vandalised rail cars on the approach to Geelong. Although you can't quite see it, behind these buildings is the Port of Geelong. There'll be a 2-minute stop here in Geelong to allow for a crew change. Geelong is Victoria's second largest city, home to almost 270,000 people. The station is the 4th busiest on the regional rail network. We travel through Geelong's southern suburbs. This section of the line is single track, but is being duplicated so Geelong trains can run more frequently. We come to a stop in a passing loop at Marshall to allow 2 Melbourne-bound services to pass.
Ladies and gentlemen, this service is currently held at signals and will shortly proceed through to Warrnambool ponds. We are just awaiting the arrival of 2 trains to pass us here. This is a scheduled stop for the service and has been allocated into our timetable. Once we do get moving, our next stop will be Warrnambool ponds.
Here's the 9:33 service from Warrnambool. And this VLocity is from the next station along the line, Warren Ponds. Despite appearances, we're still in suburban Geelong. A new platform and extra track are being built here to accommodate more services. Warren Ponds is as far as you can travel using a Victorian public transport smart card called a Myki. Paper tickets are required to travel beyond here. Let's check out the Lavatory. It's a relatively small toilet. This is obviously not an accessible toilet that's located in one of the economy cars. Everything seems to be in working order. Although these carriages feature retention toilets, meaning nothing goes onto the tracks, you might notice how clearly you can hear the rail sounds, and I think that's because unusually there's this drain through which you can see the rails below. The next stop is Winchelsea. The railway first reached here in 1876. We continue to head southwest towards Birrregurra. We're now at the halfway point between Southern Cross Station and Warrnambool. Birrregurra is home to a restaurant listed as one of the best in the world, ranking 57th in 2021. The station building dates from 1877. We get glimpses of Lake Colac, the largest natural freshwater lake in Victoria. Colac railway station opened in 1877 and was the terminus of the line until it was extended to Camperdown in 1883. Colac is the largest town between Geelong and Warrnambool. The best view, other than the drivers, is through the guards compartment at the back of the train. The volcanic soils in this region mean it's often used for grazing. This is Mount Lura, an extinct volcano. We reach 115 kilometres per hour, which is the top speed for this train on most of the line.
Ladies and gentlemen, service now arriving into Camperdown. Camperdown station is our next stop.
This is footage I got of the following day's service arriving in Camperdown. It's also a good chance to check out the economy class seats. Economy class seating is in a 2x3 arrangement. That is a bit tight. But you also have to remember that Victoria uses broad gauge trains, so there's a bit more space to work with. Unlike first class, the seating cannot be rotated to face the direction of travel. And because the seats face each other, there's no tray tables and you can't recline them. That's the accessible toilet. Let's head to the cafe bar located in the third car. It was closed at the time of filming because of the pandemic, but V-Line says they've since resumed operating but require 2 conductors to be scheduled on a service to manage it. Staff availability means they don't always open. They normally offer typical takeaway hot foods as well as sandwiches and wraps. And now we're back in first class. First class has 2x2 seating. Here's a look at the benefits of first class over economy. There are 52 seats in this carriage compared to 74 in an equivalent economy class carriage. A new crossing loop is being built near here as part of the first stage of the Warrnambool line upgrade. This will allow for an extra daily return service between Warrnambool and Melbourne during the week. The second stage of the project will allow the introduction of modern VLocity trains on this line. VLocity trains have a higher maximum speed, and this will save up to 20 minutes on journeys between Warrnambool and Melbourne according to media reports. Time to look at the fares. It's $39.40 each way to travel between Melbourne and Warrnambool, so that's $78.80 return. First class is about $17 more for a return trip.
Ladies and gentlemen, service will shortly arrive into Terang. Terang station is our next stop.
Bowman's Hotel was established in 1903. Sadly, it no longer operates. Terang Station opened in 1887. We're now travelling through the town of Allensford, which used to have a railway station, but it was closed in 1981 as part of the new deal for country passengers, which saw 35 little-used passenger stations across Victoria closed, speeding up times for intercity trains. We're now arriving at Sherwood Park, an outer suburb of Warrnambool. The station also serves the Warrnambool campus of Deakin University. This station is the least used on the line. Patronage data shows 1,150 people used the station last financial year. That's just over 3 people a day, but seems like there's more than that today. Last year's figures would also have been impacted by the pandemic and Victoria's lockdowns. Warrnambool is currently served by 4 return services on weekdays and 3 on weekends. And these are some of the best views on the line, but you have to be on the lookout because the views of Hopkins River and the coast beyond are fleeting. As we're almost at the end of the line, what did I make of this trip? It's a real joy to travel on a loco-hauled service in this day and age, with diesel multiple units increasingly taking over. I think it's worth the small premium to travel in first class, with wider seats, legroom and tray tables, and you get to face the direction of travel.
Ladies and gentlemen, service will shortly arrive and terminate into Warrnambool. Warrnambool Station is our next and our final stop. All change here, passengers for Port Birrregurra, Terang, Narrowong, Portland, Hayward, Dartmoor, Mount Gambier. Your road coach will depart the front of the Warrnambool Station from bus bay number 2. We'd like to thank you for travelling with us this afternoon on behalf of Geelong train staff. Hope you've had a pleasant and a comfortable journey, and we look forward to seeing you soon travelling V-Line. Warrnambool next and final stop, all change here.
The train is a comfortable and relaxing way to get to Warrnambool. The railway yards here in Warrnambool are being upgraded so they can house the VLocity trains, which will replace the N-type sets that we're currently travelling on. VLocities only feature economy seating, so there'll be no first class option. We arrive about 3 minutes late. If you're travelling with friends or family in first class, you can rotate the seats to form a group of 4. A last look at our train before we hop off. There's space for luggage near the vestibule. There's also a rubbish bin here and drinking water. Checked luggage is available from the guards compartment at the rear of the train. And here's where the guard sits. The loco runs around the train, ready to take it back to Melbourne. Warrnambool is close to the start of the Great Ocean Road, so there's plenty to see and do here. Coming up, something new for this channel. A trip on a steam train. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Hope to see you soon.